Today, I want to talk about the issue of perspective in the film Judas and the Black Messiah. Now, personally, I loved the film, and I felt that it was a good historical movie with some really cool crime elements that made it also feel sort of like Martin Scorsese's The Departed, if you've seen that. But, as with anything in life, there are varying opinions on this film. Chief among them is the question of just how deep does it go into the political ideology of Fred Hampton and the Black Panther Party itself. So I've seen many critics really question the authenticity of this film. And recently, rap artist Noname was in the news for revealing that after she saw the film, she was disappointed in how Hampton was portrayed, so she dropped out of the soundtrack entirely. Now, I don't think she's wrong, or anyone who feels this way is wrong. They're entitled to their opinion. And I understand where they're even coming from, because before the film released, I already knew the story of Fred Hampton. I studied a lot of his ideology myself. But I think a lot of people are missing the point of this film. And that brings me to the question of perspectives. You see, the creative team behind this film wanted to drive the audience through the perspective of William O'Neill, the street criminal turned FBI informant played by Lakeith Stanfield. And this decision created much of the controversy that we see today. Why tell the story of a revolutionary through the eyes of an informant? I think the answer to that is in the name of the film itself. When you see the title, I'd assume you know what you're getting into. It's called Judas and the Black Messiah, and that's a direct reference to the biblical story of Judas and Jesus. Now, if you don't know, Judas was one of the 12 disciples, and he's notorious for betraying Jesus by essentially ratting him out for something like 30 pieces of silver. Now, Hampton was seen as someone who united people under this socialist ideology. And if you break down a lot of Jesus' ideology as a Christian, things like giving to the poor, protecting the weak, these are essentially socialist ideals. O'Neill was Hampton's Judas, and the American criminal justice system was Rome. So when you think of it that way, you kind of see that this film was never going to be solely about Hampton. It's more about the movement he led, the people he inspired, and the fear that his positive energy brought upon the white power structure. But not only that, there's a clear contrast being made in the film between Hampton, who's willing to die for what he believes in, and O'Neill, who's really just fighting for his individual freedom. Now, sympathy shouldn't be made for O'Neill because what he did was wrong, but his story still deserves to be told. You see, O'Neill's story is more common than we'd like to admit. So many men, especially black men, are trapped in the criminal justice system, with their only pathway to freedom being to betray the people that are closest to them. And whether we want to admit it or not, you know a lot more O'Neills than you do Hamptons in your life. So I think that the criticism of this film are valid, but we can't expect to learn everything about Fred Hampton in just 2 hours. That's pretty much impossible. And I don't think it's fair to tell the creative team behind the film how they should have done their work, just completely excusing the time and dedication they put into this and what their own vision was for the film. If anything, this film deserves to exist because now more people are going to be interested in who Fred Hampton was. More people will do the reading, they'll watch interviews and discussions surrounding him, and maybe even adopt the political beliefs that he had. Now, I don't think that responsibility should be placed solely on this one film. And the way Hollywood works, there could be many more films about Fred Hampton in the future. One thing I also challenge people who are criticizing the film to do is use your platforms to drive people to resources that center Hampton. I think Noname does a great job with her book club, and I'm excited to see some more Black Panther literature possibly included in the coming months. But I will also link some readings and videos below this video because I do think it's important for people to do the work to learn. But what did you guys think of the film, and do you agree with the direction that it took? Comment below, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video.